Alright, so you want to build this innocent yet evil-looking Deadpool of Honkai star Rail who washes his hair with only blue shampoo. It's Sampo. Oh, Sampo and shampoo, a perfect pair. Washing his hair, no worries to bear. With shampoo's care, his blue hair is rare. A daily routine beyond compare. Let's not talk about what happened just now.
Nice.
But I cannot see.
So, who is Sampo? I'm not going to talk about his backstory. You know him better than me. Let's just jump into his mechanics. Sampo is a character with Wind Element and Nihility Path. He is a DOT sub-DPS. Though there are Sampo lovers and mains, but most players didn't give a about building him before, but now he is on the charts just because of Kafka. Sampo builds. Sampo, whose kits revolve around the Wind Shear DOT, can apply this DOT in two ways. Either by stacking Wind Shear by his talent, or by breaking enemy weakness, applying Break Dot, doing break damage along with applying Wind Shear DOT from his talent. Each build has its own advantages and disadvantages that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. Then there is his ability to increase DOTs taken by enemies, which along with his talent are main reasons why Sampo is now
stonks.
Let's actually get started. Abilities. Dazzling. Blade. A 3-hit basic attack. Cool. Skill. Sampo throws his blade at single target. The enemy gets some damage, then your blade bounces 4 extra time and deals the same amount of damage again to random enemies or the same enemy. In total, skill is a 5-hit attack. Ultimate. Samp slides forwards and well, the bomb explodes and deals damage to all enemies on field. This gives enemies DOT vulnerability. Enemies now take 20% more damage from any DOTs applied on them for just 2 turns. This effect also applies to break DOT. And yeah, Ultimate is a 4-hit attack. Talent. Here comes the main dish. All attacks of Sampo have 65% base chance to apply Wind Shear for 3 turns, and it stacks up to 5 times. And every time enemy with Wind Shear take turns, it will take 20% of Sampo ATK as Wind DOT. Wind Shear is a DOT that stacks and multiply with itself. Sampo does multi-hit attacks, and each hit has 65% to apply to Wind Shear DOT on target enemy. Meaning Sampo basic attack, which is a 3-hit attack, each hit has a chance to stack 1 Wind Shear. Wind Shear stacks can easily be refreshed by Sampo's attack. If a Wind Shear with 5 stacks has 1 or 2 turn left, doing basic ATK will refresh them to 3 turn, only if the attack landed a Wind Shear on enemy. You can increase the chance to land your dot on enemy by increasing some of your stats, which we also going to talk about in a minute. Technique. Sampo smokes the area around himself and makes enemies go blind. Now they can't see you for 10 seconds. If you enter battle after using technique, the enemies are slowed down by 25% at start of battle. This is good for Kafka team because it lets you stack Wind Shear and other DOTs before enemies take turn. Bonus traces. They are pretty straightforward. Number 1. Wind Shear inflicted due to talent remains for 4 turns instead of 3. Number 2. Sampo regenerates 10 energy after using his ultimate. Number 3. Enemies with Wind Shear do less damage to Sampo. This one is useless, but alright. Trace priority. The priority order is talent or ultimate to basic or skill. Talent for dot damage and ultimate for dot vulnerability. If you have Eidolon 4 Sampo, which we also going to talk about in a minute, prioritize skill first after talent and ultimate. Ascension Materials. Sampo needs. Ancient Part. Get it from Assignment Reward, Storm Eye. Get it from Green Horse of Stangent Shadow, Obsidian of Dread. Trace material obtained from Crimson Calyx, Guardian's Lament. Ramp Bronya's mom a few times to get it.
Good. The stronger the better. Try this on for size.
Eidolons. Number 1. Your skill now bounces 5 times instead of 4, total 6 hits, which is extra toughness reduction plus some extra energy recharge. Number 2. Defeating an enemy with wind shear already applied inflicts all the rest of enemies with one wind shear stack. Sampo attacks already inflicts wind shear, so E2 is good for faster stacking wind shear in a battle with many small enemies. Number 3. Not saying anything about this. Number 4 is an interesting one. If enemy is already stacked with 5 wind shears, attacking it again with Sampo's skill will deal 8% damage of current applied wind shear damage. This includes both normal dot and break dot wind shear. Sampo's skill hits 6 times now because of Eidolon 1, so if it's a single enemy, then it's 48% extra damage dealt. But in AoE situation with many enemies, your skill hits random enemies, so you won't able deal whole 48% of damage on single enemy. Number 5, again. Number 6, Talent Wind Shear Damage Multiplier. At E5, level 12, Talent has 57.2% multiplier, which with E6 becomes 72.2%. The f***? What is this? Relic Sets. For relics, you have 2 choices depending on your build. Number 1, if you are going for DOT build, 2-piece Eagle plus 2-piece Musketeer combo is best. You get wind damage plus attack percentage. 4-piece Eagle is just advance forward, which can help in stacking wind shear a little while. 4-piece Musketeer is speed and basic attack increase. You can also get some speed by using 2-piece Traversing Messenger, though Traversing Messenger 4-piece is not possible for Sampo. Number 2, if you are building Break Effect Sampo, go for 4-piece Thief set, Planar Ornament. First, we have good old Space Sealing Station 2-piece, which increases attack and more attack if speed reaches 120 or more. This is going to increase dot damage due to general attack increase. Then we have Pan-Galactic 2-piece, which increases effect hit rate, plus some attack percentage if you have even more effect hit rate. Talia 2-piece if you are going for break effect build. Sprightly Von Whack is an option for team with Kafka. You can go before Kafka to stack wind shear due to advance forward effect on entering battle. Main stats. Effect hit rate. Sampo attacks have base 65% chance land wind shear dot. This 65% chance is affected by enemies' resistance, so you need to achieve at least 67% more effect hit rate to have the actual 65% chance to land dot on enemies who have resistance of 40%. Otherwise, you will be seeing no wind shear stacking in difficult battles. You get 18% effect hit rate from Sampo's traces. In case you have enough effect hit rate, go for other stats, for relic main stats, since DOTs can't crit for chest. Effect hit rate or attack percentage. Attack percentage if you have Eyes of the Prey Superimposition 5 light cone. For feet, speed or attack percentage. Speed D is more preferred, but if you reach 121 speed it will just do fine and you can go for other stats. Planar Sphere, wind damage boost, link rope, energy regen or attack percentage. Energy regen on rope will make team do more damage due to ultimate uptime, since dot vulnerability is just for 2 turn, but it will cost Sampo's own dot damage. Break effect link rope, if you are going for break effect build. Substats, effect hit rate, attack percentage, speed, break effect for break effect Sampo, or fill this slot with crit damage or crit rate for Sampo's normal attack damage or even flat attack. Don't specifically aim for crit rate and crit damage. Get other stats first. Light cones. First option, good night, sleep well. For every debuff enemy has, damage increases and stacks up to 3 times. Your 1 wind shear counts as 1 debuff. Sampo applies wind shear on his every attack hit, and even basic attack has 3 hits, so it's max uptime. Second option, Eyes of the Prey. Extra effect hit rate for Sampo plus more DOT damage. If you superimpose this light cone, you can also remove effect hit rate chest piece and replace it with attack percentage for more DOT damage. Third option, Fermata. Good for F2P players who don't have any other light cones. Break effect is increased, which is good for break effect build Sampo. Wearer deals more damage to enemies who have shock or wind shear applied, which is good for DOT build Sampo. Fourth option, In the Name of the World. E-buffed enemies takes more damage, plus your skill specifically has more effect hit rate and deals more damage. If you don't use skill, the effect hit rate and extra attack percentage is not going to benefit you. Good for E4 Sampo, so when he triggers 8% DMG on enemies, his skill will also deal a little more damage. Another option. If you have version 1.1 free light cone, it also gives effect hit rate and allows Sampo to regain energy by hitting defense-reduced enemies. This option is okay if you bring debuffer for defense reduction, so Sampo's ultimate can get more uptime. Team building. There aren't many characters Sampo synergize with. Kafka. Best synergy is, of course, Kafka. At the time of making this, Kafka kit is not known yet, but we do know she re-triggers DOT immediately on her skill usage, which is very strong with Sampo Wind Shear dot and sometimes Break dot. Sampo ultimate makes enemies take more DOT, and so Kafka, who has her own shock DOT from her abilities or other allies who can apply DOT, gonna benefit from it. Kafka own shock from ultimate is gonna hurt a lot too. Sampo is best choice for wind-weak enemy, and also great for other types too. So Kafka mains should build Sampo before any other character. Buffer. Asta provides attack percent buff, which is just perfect for dot damage, since it can't benefit from crit buffs. Her ultimate provides speed to all allies, which means more Sampo E4 or dots, or if you are running her with Kafka, which allows more dot re-triggers. She can hold on to the supportive light cones like Bronya's light cone or Dance Dance Dance, and she can also hold support relic sets like Traversing Hackerspace 4-piece for extra speed, or Fleet of Ageless 4-piece for extra team attack percent. Due to her Ascension 2 passive, her basic attack also has 80% chance to apply Burn DOT, which is very nice. Debuffer. For last slot, we put either Silverwolf or Pila. Both of them provide def reduction and remove debuffs, while Silverwolf also provides all-type resistance reduction and implants weaknesses. Both the defense reduction and resistance reduction on enemy is going to increase your Sampo's dot damage, since both of these stats take part in dot damage calculation. Pela can also farm skill points for team, survival unit. You also need a healer or shielder, otherwise you are not going to survive the big fights. For a shielder, you have Fire MC, March 7th, and Gepard. You can use anyone you like, but Gepard has a taunt from his Ascension 2 trace, so enemies will attack him more, and you can also use Trend of Universal Market, which applies burn effect regardless of element of wearer, and scales off the wearer's def. For healer, best one is of course Auto Apocalypse, I mean Lucha, but anyone will do the job. Your team now should have Sampo, a debuffer, either Pela or Silverwolf, maybe even Asta for some speed and attack percent buff, then a character which makes your survival possible like a shielder or a healer. And you're another dot debuffs who will benefit from Sampo's ultimate providing dot vulnerability like Serval. Even if you don't have Kafka. I forgot Luca is also going to release with Kafka, so you can make a team with Kafka, Sampo, Luca, and another dot or survival unit. Luca gonna synergize well with them because he inflicts bleed effect and also gives some damage vulnerability from his ultimate, which affects both dot and non-dot damage. How to play Sampo. Depends on your build. There are two ways to play Sampo. 1. DOT build. Sampo can apply Wind Shear with just basic attacks due to his talent, which allows other teammates or Kafka to use skill points. Sampo will be doing DOT damage since Wind Shear lasts for 4 turns. Kafka can also re-trigger it with her skill. Or Sampo with E4 can deal that extra 48% damage by stacking 5 Wind Shears on single enemy and using his skill. DOT build also work against any enemy, unlike break build where enemy needs to have wind weakness. For this build, you just need effect hit rate and attack percent. Effect hit rate increases your chances to land dot on enemy, and attack percent increases dot damage. You will using basic attack or sometimes skill, so this build can be skill point efficient or neutral, since you just need to stack Wind Shear. 2. Break effect. Build Sampo will do a lot more damage if you break weakness enough times and stacked the break dot, though it can only works against wind weakness enemy. You will need to spend on break effect and attack percent speed and effect hit rate too, since you will be applying Wind Shear dot 2 while breaking weaknesses. This build also uses skill points more. Sampo's skill targets random enemies, so weakness break is random. But if you break weaknesses enough times, enemy will have both normal dot plus break dot, which Kafka can trigger both for huge amount of damage. And that's it. I think I told you everything I knew about Sampo. Even if you are not pulling Kafka, you will have fun playing Sampo around the dot mechanic. He was always like that, but most players are learning about his potential now, because of Kafka.
Sad, bro.
Anyways, that was it for a simple guide. I hope I didn't mess anything up. If you liked the video, consider leaving a like and subscribe if you don't want to miss a simple Kafka guide. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.